first session, so hopefully you've been enjoying and following along, but let's get into it. The bell rings. It's normal in the mornings and you wake, blinking, waiting for the morning to come. For a moment you don't move. The room is dark, not the blue soft dark of pre-dawn that filters through shutters and seams, but a thicker black, heavy and intact. The hearth downstairs is cold. No footsteps pass in the hall. No coughs, no mutters. The bell does not ring again. You lay there, staring up at the ceiling, counting breaths you didn't realize you were holding. You tell yourself it could have been a dream. The mind does strange things where time folds in on itself. You've learned that, and yet you sit up. The air feels different, still but not as restful, as if the town itself is holding its breath. You swing your legs over the side of your bed, and at the window you part the curtain enough just to peer out. Lowen's Crossing sleeps. Every house is dark, no lamps burn, no figures move along the street. The well sits at the center of town, the black ring against darker stone, its wooden frame a pale shape in the night. The flowers laid there yesterday remain, their pale heads drooping, their petals indistinct in the low light. No one stands watch, no one comes outside to see what happened and why the bell rang, but it seems you're the only one awake. As you watch, a sound rises from the square. It's not a voice or quite a cry. It's wet and hollow and rhythmic, like breath forced through stone that was never meant to breathe, a choking, echoing exhale that seems to come from deep within the earth, reverberating up through the well's empty mouth and spilling into the empty streets. Your magic detector stirs. At first it is humming softly, a familiar vibration against your palm. And then the rhythm breaks. The hum stutters, spikes, drops into silence, and then surges again, uneven and erratic, as if struggling to keep time with something else. You step down the stairs, avoiding the third step, and open the door of the tavern. The night air is cold and clean. It smells faintly of damp stone and sleeping earth. Your footsteps sound too loud in the silence, each one an intrusion. You cross the square slowly, drawn forward not by urgency, but by a gentle, persistent pull that seems to tug just behind your eyes. The sound from the well grows louder as you approach. You stop a few steps away. The magic detector thrums wildly now, its vibration crawling up your arm. You steady your breath and focus, letting your senses reach outward, past fear, past instinct. You stop to examine the magic that's here, and I'll have you make an Arcana check at advantage. Whoa. That is 2 critical successes. And I wish I was lying, but really that is in fact 2 naturally rolled critical successes. Well, with a double crit, I suppose you'll learn pretty much everything that this well has to offer. Well, at first, it is what you've come to expect. A vast, layered enchantment stretched over the town like a dome of glass. Repetition, stabilization, a powerful, elegant working, even in its decay. And then you notice, and can't help noticing, the gaps. They're not quite holes, they're more pauses, moments where the structure falters and reality is left briefly unreinforced. They flicker in and out of existence, regular but patterned, like a failing heartbeat. And something else, something darker, deeper, older, pressed into the stone of the well itself, a seal, ancient runes carved with purpose and certainty, meant to hold something vast in place. The seal is failing, not all at once and not cleanly. The runes dim and brighten in uneven cycles, weakening in time with the lapses in the wizard's spell above it. Where the loop falters, the seal loosens. You understand, then. The wizard's spell did not merely freeze the town, it suppressed whatever lay beneath, smothering its influence without ever touching the source. And now, as the spell decays, the thing bound below is stirring, pressing upward into the cracks left behind. The sound from the well changes. It's closer now, more focused, almost directed. You step forward. The stone rim of the well is cool beneath your fingers. You lean over and peer into the darkness. There's no reflection, no glimmer of water far below, only blackness, vast in depth, and from somewhere beneath the sound of something exhaling, slow and shuddering, like lungs made from rock and soil and grief. Your thoughts grow hazy, not erased, not even controlled, but softened, edges blurring as if wrapped in a thick, soft cloth. You feel an overwhelming sense of invitation, gentle and desperate, and brushing against your mind. Come closer. You don't question why. You tie your rope to the well's frame with practiced hands. The knot holds. You test it once, twice. You climb over the edge and lower yourself into the well, boots scraping against stone, slick with age. The darkness swallows you quickly. You hear the sound of your own breath and the faint echo of that other, deeper arms aching, and then you feel it, that lull, the magic stuttering again, and you take your chance. The hum disappears entirely, and you let go of your rope. There's no rush of air, no stomach-lurching drop. You fall and fall and fall, but the sensation is wrong. You feel weightless, endless. The walls of the well dissolve around you, replaced by nothing at all. You keep falling, not downward, but inward, through a vast, silent space where direction has no meaning. You expect water, you expect impact. Instead, you land with a soft thump, as gentle as settling into a deep moss. The darkness remains, but it's no longer empty. Ahead of you, something moves, and I'll have you make me a perception check. It's quite shadowy, and you did not roll well, but you do see something. A shape too large to fully perceive, coiled and hunched, its outline shifting as if it struggled to agree on its form. Veins of faint, sickly light pulse from beneath its surface, tracing in patterns like roots through stone. Its body seems carved from earth and shadow, fractured and imperfect, bound with glowing runes that flicker weakly against it. It weeps. The sound is low and broken, each sob dragging against the stone of this place, echoing outward into the void. It mutters to itself in a language older than the town above, older than anything you've heard. Then, abruptly, its head snaps towards you, and the darkness seems to look at you. It does not rise. It doesn't need to. Its presence fills the void like rain filling a valley. The darkness seems to press closer, bending around its form. Its head, if it can be called that, tilts slightly. Where a face should be, the stone and root-like mass folds inward, rearranging itself. Shapes emerge that vaguely resemble eyes, deep hollows glowing faintly like a light of moonlit water far underground. The weeping slows. It has noticed you. You fall, it says. The voice does not come from one place. It resonates throughout the void, through the stone beneath your feet, and through your own ribs. It sounds ancient and worn thin, as if it had been used too many times without rest. You fall when others do not. You steady yourself. Your voice feels small here, but it does exist. You tell it you heard it from the well. A long pause follows. The form shudders as if something inside of it is tightening. The well, the well. It murmurs, yes. The mouth, the forgetting place. draws in a breath that seems to last far too long, and when it exhales, the sound is like wind moving through caverns that have never known daylight. I have called for so long, it continues, not with words, with pressure, with ache, with cracks. They do not hear. They are softened. You think of the town above, the careful routines, the gentle smiles that never quite reach the eyes, and the fear that sits beneath it, unnamed. You tell the creature they townspeople leave you flowers at the well. The being stills. For the first time, its attention sharpens. The faint light beneath its surface brightens, then dims again like a heart stuttering. Flowers. It repeats. The word comes out fractured, unfamiliar. They remember something then, even if they do not know what. You step closer, the runes binding it come into clear view now. They are carved into great bands of stone and iron that coil around the form, half sunk into its body, half anchored into nothing at all. They glow faintly, unevenly, some symbols sharp and intact, others worn down, cracked. Who are you? You ask. Another pause, longer this time. I was named, it says at last. Once. I was the keeper of the soil and the season. I turned the long wheel so that the roots knew when to drink and when to sleep. Its voice drops lower. I was not meant to stay still. Lowen. The understanding settles on you slowly, heavily. Lowen, you say. The being's body tightens, the runes flaring in response. Yes, it answers. There's no anger in the word, only exhaustion. He spoke my name with reverence. He begged, and he promised. He feared the hunger more than the consequence. Images bleed into your mind, not forced but offered. A young settlement, thin soil, failed crops. A bargain struck in desperation. He bound me here. The spirit continues to bless the water, to thicken the land, make it flourish. And you You agreed, you say. I did, it replies. For a time. For a time. It shifts and the void ripples around it. But time is not meant to close on itself, and the binding did not end. The promises outlived the man who made them. The town is fed and fed and fed and fed, and I remain. The voice falters, slipping into a low, broken cadence. I could feel myself thinning, stretching. Seasons passed without moving. People changed, but I could not. My thoughts stretched inward. My dreams had nowhere to go. You swallow, and that's when the madness started. A soft, terrible confirmation of what you already guessed had happened to the town. It leaked from me like sap from a wounded tree. I tried to hold it back. I tried to go quiet. But pain unattended always finds a way out. The image shifts again. A wizard now, an outsider. Careful hands and frantic eyes. He came later, the spirit says. He felt the sickness, but not the wound. He wrapped the town in stillness. He pressed the days flat. He silenced my screams, so no one would have to hear them. There's no bitterness in its voice, only fact. They don't know you exist, you say. I don't think he knew about you. Then we were equally trapped. The spirit answers. You look at the bindings again, the runes. The way some symbols are precise and others look damaged, wrong. Can you be freed, you ask. The being hesitates. I do not know, it admits. The one who bound me is dust. The spell should have collapsed with him. It did not. You focus, letting your mind slip into the careful, analytical space that you trained for. Moments just like this. You study the runes, the flow of magic through them, the way the spell connects, not just to the spirit, but to the town itself. And I'll have you make another Arcana check. Okay, not so bad, but it takes a while for you to come upon this idea. You first go through a few other theories that perhaps the man who made the bargain, Lowen, had passed the pact on to his son or to a family member, but it doesn't feel right. Something doesn't add up. These markings, you say slowly, spirit's attention sharpens again. Speak, it urges. The spell should have failed when Lowen died, you continue. But part of it was damaged, not complete. It froze. The damage kept it anchored somehow. Understanding dawns on the spirit. A broken promise. The spirit murmurs, preserved instead of released. Your hands move almost without conscious thought. You step closer to the bindings, tools ready. This is delicate work. Sacred work, almost. You steady your breath, and you reach out. I'll have you roll me a perception check first, an advantage, because the spirit will help you on these. Ooh, another critical success. You take a look at the first rune, tracing the intended flow of magic, and with careful precision you carve. You notice where the symbol has degraded, in the places that there needed to be a connection and wasn't. The void trembles. The second rune that's damaged requires patience. I'll have you make me a Arcana check. Very nice, 18. You watch the light pulse beneath the spirit's surface, waiting for the right moment, and then move quickly, aligning the stone and the symbol in a brief window where light bursts through one of the symbols. You feel the bindings weakening. The third rune is the hardest. It sits near the spirit's core, where the power intertwines. Your hands shake, and you force them still. One wrong line could collapse everything. The last one I'll have you make is a sleight of hand check. Not so good. You finish the carving. For a moment, nothing happens. Then, you notice a section that you missed, one last piece that needed to be carved out. Now let you make one more check. That's better. The runes flare with a brilliant, clear light. The bindings begin to dissolve like stone being worn away by time in the matter of seconds, turning slowly, crumbling into sand. Then they crumble into nothing, the magic unraveling thread by thread. The spirit inhales a full breath, the first and longer than your memory, or possibly even its memory, and its form begins to change, unfurling, expanding. The veins and the madness that has been twitching its head and curling it into a ball stretches. Its form begins to change, unraveling, unfurling. The veins glow with a brilliant light green light, like the whispers itself. Thank you. And the words carry weight, but not obligation. The void brightens and then fades. The sound of the stone lungs exhaling becomes wind in the open fields. And then you wake with a sharp gasp. Hands grip your shoulder. Hello there, darling. You all right? You blink against the sudden light. Morning light. Pale gold filtering through clouds. You're lying on cold stone, your back against the well's rim. A woman kneels beside you, worry etched into her face. Behind her, the town stirs. Doors open. Voices rise. The day begins. You are out cold, she says. I thought you'd fallen in. You sit up, heart pounding. The well is quiet, and the flowers are gone. You thank the woman, your voice still thick with sleep and something harder to name. She nods, satisfied, already turning away as if the moment had completed its purpose. By the time you sit up fully, she's gone, absorbed into the gentle motion of the morning. The square feels changed. Not something like a cleansing or rebirth, just the air moves more freely. Somewhere shutters bang once, twice, then settle. You rise to your feet. The well stands where it always has, but it is no longer feels like the center. Just stone, just the depth. A place where people gather water. You peer down it once more, half expecting something to answer, but nothing does. Your magic detector hums in your pocket, lightly, normally, as you expect it to. You turn towards the hills. The path to the wizard's tower feels shorter than it did before. The land seems to have stretched, relaxed, its contours no longer pressed into unnatural alignment. Grass bends beneath your boots, and a bird startles from a low branch. The tower greets you in silence. Inside, dust motes drift lazily in shafts of light. Nothing resists your presence now. The basement hum is dulled to a tired murmur, like a machine left running after everyone else has gone home. You approach it with care. Up close, the apparatus looks less like a marvel and more like a confession. Rings scored with repair marks, crystals rotated so often that their housings are worn smooth, notes scratched into stone, marks, checks. You dismantle it slowly. Each adjustment feels like releasing a breath that has been held for too long. The magic thins, stretches, and when the final conduit is disabled, it's released. You stand there for a moment afterward, waiting a consequence. None comes. By the time you return to Lowen's Crossing, the town is awake in earnest. Doors stand open longer than they used to. Conversations drift and wander. A man stops mid-sentence, and laughs awkwardly and starts again, surprised by his own pause. A woman in the market blinks at her hands as if seeing the lines in her palms for the first time. No one quite knows what has changed. They move with it. At the tavern, the barkeep looks up as you enter, his brow furrowing slightly as if searching for a memory that isn't quite there. "Morning," he says, warm and genuine. "You heading out today?" "Yes," you answer, and the word feels right. He nods, disappears briefly, and then returns with a small parcel wrapped in cloth. Bread still warm in the center, cheese cut unevenly, an apple with a shallow bruise. "For the road," he says. "Felt like the thing to do." You thank him, collect your things, and sling your pack over your shoulder. You step back out into the light. You head out the tavern door into the busy market. You pass the well without stopping, past the square, past the last clustered homes, and onto the open road where land rolls freely, and the future is not postponed. Behind you, Lowen's Crossing begins again, not repeated for the first time in you don't know how many years, but beginning. Ahead, the road waits, and you take it. And that's our story. I hope you enjoyed. If you've been listening and enjoying, I always appreciate a subscription. It's the best way to know and figure out when my new videos are coming out. But I think our next video series is going to be starting some reading. We're going to be doing some reading of old books. And yeah, some more short stories. So look forward to that. And I will see you later. Have a good day, sleep, or rest of your afternoon.